Believe it or not, U2 were once considered a cool band to be into. So what went wrong? Let's get into it, shall we? U2 had what many would consider a fairly promising start, allowing us to look at these Irish scallywags with a soupçon of optimism, certainly providing alternative to the frills and ruffs and heroin chic of the New Romantics. Their 1980 debut Boy contained the classic I Will Follow with Bono's assertive vocals, and the Edge's dynamic guitar work very much laying the foundations for this band's sound. And the songs displayed a dynamism leaning towards a robust melody and political activism, all under the remit of the post-punk era, with Bono's vocals tinged with rage and pathos in equal measure, and of course the Edge's refreshing effects-laced guitar assault, wherein expansive sonics were all the rage. And let's not forget 1984's The Unforgettable Fire, co-produced by the brilliant Brian Eno, who delved deep into atmospheric soundscapes for that record. And let's not forget Joshua Tree, of course. And I maintain to this day that Achtung Baby is one of the best albums of the 1990s. So where did it all go wrong? Numerous reasons have been given for this band's descent, certainly in terms of critical opinion, and why they constantly top the piss lists in these sort of ranking videos, but they come across as dowdy and bloated these days, with all the kudos of an unflushable floater. So why are U2 hated by so many? Here are 3 good reasons. Bono, real name Paul David Hewson, has been anathematized by many. He is to humility what Lily Phillips is to chastity. The joke being, of course, the former has an insufferable air of self-importance, and the latter has been filled more often than a pensioner's kettle. Bono's many moments of sanctimonious hand-wringing and perceived virtue signalling is added to the pile-on with this band. Even the famous Where the Streets Have No Name video typifies why they're so widely derided. I mean, it was so edgy, no pun intended, performing on a roof of a liquor store in Los Angeles. I mean, wow, what band would have ever thought of performing on a rooftop, eh? U2 explicitly aimed to shut down the streets, attracting a large crowd from all over to witness their performance. They later stated that their goal was to create chaos, which they successfully achieved, of course. However, despite the pandemonium, the stunt didn't come across as punk, as it was intended to be. While the police interactions depicted in the video were real due to the city's safety concerns, it was all a ruse, really, for commercial purposes. In 2007, the band's then manager, Paul McGuinness, revealed that the spat with the authorities was greatly exaggerated. U2 wanted to get shut down to sensationalise their video. Ultimately, the police gave them several extensions on the shoot. Bono does strut around like some self-righteous preener, looking to eliminate world hunger and to effect the thrust and parry of geopolitics by wagging his finger at us with insufferable ease. All in the name of love, I suppose. I love this story. I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently Bono wrote to Captain Beefheart asking if they could write and record together. Captain Beefheart sent a handwritten reply that simply said, "Dear Bongo, no." Excellent stuff. The band have come to represent the worst, or at least aware of everything that's wrong with superstardom and stadium rock. Bono's performances and the Edge's over-reliance on effects have sort of become tired caricatures of former glory. Many feel this band's music has deteriorated greatly, and this is heard clearly across 1993's Zootopia, 1997's weird dance rock hybrid pop, and more recent releases such as 2009's New Line on the Horizon, which produced the infinitely corny Get On Your Boots. The single is undoubtedly one of the group's worst efforts in every aspect. It is just comically bad. And elsewhere we get Vertigo, taken from 2004's How to Dismantle an Atom Bomb, which is wretched from start to finish and features Bono's perplexing opening yell. uno, dos, tres, catorce. 1, 2, 3, 14. Bono claimed, of course, the mistake occurred due to the fact he'd been hitting the source a little bit too heavily before the recording, but the band's decision to include it in the track with a horrid chorus, guitars and lyrics just shows an appalling sense of complete lack of self-awareness. Even U2's rhythm section, once considered fairly tight, has come under some criticism. Henry Rollins harshly critiqued Adam Clayton and Larry Mullen Jr., stating, "They have the worst rhythm section in big rock. That is the most plodding, corny rhythm section ever to fill a stadium."
That every iTunes user would be given a free copy of their new album, Songs of Innocence, whether they wanted it or not. This resulted in perhaps the biggest PR disaster of Cook's career. News outlets called the move even worse than spam, and caused U2 to be named the most hated band in America.
The famous iTunes incident, of course, where the band had Songs for Innocence show up in everybody's account and seemed to be fairly irremovable. In fact, I think there were websites set up to counsel people to overcome this trauma and perhaps find ways of deleting it. I think people were outraged that the band assumed that people would desire their music. The main criticism was that they'd given their mediocre work away for free because nobody wanted to pay for it. But the band even then doubled down on it, with The Edge saying at the album launch, "It's incredibly subversive. It's really punk rock. It's really disruptive." Well, it was certainly disruptive, but never mind the bollocks, it wasn't. Maybe just bollocks. So there you have it. 3 reasons why people hate U2. I mean, for the record, I think their early stuff is excellent, and I think Achtung Baby, as I've already said, is one of the finest albums of the 1990s. Most of the stuff since then, my word, what a falling off was there. So if you're new to this channel, please do click like, subscribe, and check that notification bell. It makes all the difference to the algorithm. And check some of the links below this video for ways you can support the sterling work done at Classic Album Review. It's always much appreciated. Anyway, that's that said. I'll just leave you with my closing salvo, which is, hope you're well, staying safe, and of course that you keep listening.
What's this I see over here? I see 2 letters, SF and U2. Is that a girl's name, or does that stand for Sinn Féin, the Irish Republican Armies? Because if it does, I don't know how you can stand or stomach to wait that sign this week. Because you bastards left those people 11 dead, 55 wounded in the name of freedom. Fuck freedom!